Hi y'all, it's Lena with Especially Made for Me. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be doing a bow just to kind of show you some basics specific to using wire ribbons and using our easy bow maker. So we're going to get right to it, and we'll show you the supplies that you'll need, and we'll go from there. Let me change the camera view so you'll be able to see from the top view, and you'll still be able to see me to the corner. There we go. So you should be able to see my work table, and I should be to the corner of the video. So you'll still be able to see me at a distance, but still be able to see more the work, which is what we're focusing on. So the bow that we're making, I'm using some ribbons that I have from making a wreath that I had left over, and they're fall. So we have these beautiful fall colors. We have like a canvas orange, and we have the shimmery almost see-through glittery ribbon with the pumpkins in it. So I'm going to go ahead and just start removing pins, and we're going to get right to it. Now this process that I'm going to be showing you today, you can use for any type of bow that you may want to make. So it's all based on the theme. So you can use the same process and just change your ribbons accordingly. I just wanted to go with the fall ribbons because I do have some of these, you know, like I said, left over from a different project, and we are in gearing towards the fall season. We're in fall, so I wanted to just show you that. Now you could do these by hand as well. I do have some other videos showing you how to do some bows by hand, and we're gonna kind of go with the flow of things. I'm not sure how much ribbon I have here, so we'll just adjust and adapt and overcome as we go, based on how much ribbon we have, and that way we'll know how to plan when we're making ribbons without knowing how much we have left over. So that'll be also part of the lesson. So we'll go here together. So the first thing I like to do is cutting the dovetail onto the ribbon, just because that gives it a more finished look. So all I do for that is fold my ribbon in half, and then I cut diagonally towards the corner, like so, and that'll give us that dovetail. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and load my ribbon onto my easy bow maker. Now if you don't have an easy bow maker and you would like to get one, they do have these in some of the craft stores, but there is a link underneath the video that you can click on, and it'll take you, it's my affiliate link, it'll take you to where you could also purchase it online if you want to save that trip to the store. So normally I do between a 6 to an 8-inch tail, depending on what I'm working on. And of course, in this case, we have to be careful with how much ribbon we have, which we can see here, there's not that much. So I'm going to shorten it a little bit and go with a 6-inch. And if you use the easy bow maker, it'll actually have the measurements on the bow maker itself. But you could also use the cutting board if you have one of those. There is a link underneath the video as well, affiliate link, in case you don't have one, and you can measure it through that as well. Of course, you could use your measuring tape or a ruler, whatever you have handy. Doesn't have to be either of these items. So we're going to go ahead and insert it, and we're going to give it a twist right in the middle. Now that is to make sure that our pretty side is going to be facing up. Okay, normally I also do a 6-inch loop, but I'm going to go a little bit smaller, just so that we can do a smaller bow. But you can go again based on what you have. See, now we have that glittery canvas look on the outside, but we have that duller side on the bottom. Okay, so we're going to work in our middle and go ahead and give it a twist, again making sure that our pretty side is going to be up. And I'm going to go ahead and unhook this, so I have my little handy dandy trash can right here. Alrighty, and again doing the same measurement, and based on what size bow you want to make, if you're going by how much ribbon you have, then of course you can make more loops. I'm just going to make the 2 because I want to make sure, and it looks like, let's go ahead and play with it a little bit because we have a few inches left. We could extend our tail an inch, or maybe even extend our bow an inch. So that's what I meant by once you have your your ribbon and you're trying to gauge what you have, if you need it to be a little bit bigger, you could do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and readjust so I can show you how that would work. Again, measuring an extra inch for our tail, doing my little twist for the middle, and we're going to go with a 6-inch loop. Looks like that will work a little bit better, so we can have a little bit of a bigger bow. Now on that last loop that we do, we are not going to do the twisting because we want, again, to make sure that the pretty side is facing up on our tail as well. And then we'll go ahead and cut our dovetail. Now the more ribbon you use, then of course the bigger, fluffier, not necessarily fluffier, but thicker your bow can be. So it'll look even more bigger, a little bit more bigger. That sounded funny, depending on how many ribbons you use. Okay, so this is that other ribbon I mentioned. Well, you can see that there on the camera. It's got like pumpkins. It's kind of glittery and see-through, little shimmer. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Cut our dovetail, just again by folding in half and then cutting towards the corners. And on here you can measure, since you already have your tails already there, you can measure based on that instead of having to do a measurement, either with the Easy Bow Maker or with the cutting board or ruler or anything that you might use for measuring. And you can use your bottom loop already for your measurement. You don't necessarily have to measure that, so you can do that by eye. Now since there's not so much ribbon left in here, I'm going to go ahead and unhook it. Normally I would leave it hooked so it'll be easier to roll it. But in this case, since we're using remnants, I'm going to take it off. There's not that much ribbon left in there. Okay. Again, giving it a twist in the middle, and I'm making this one slightly smaller just because I wanted to also show the bottom, and I wanted to show this shimmer one, but not too much of a difference because we still have one more ribbon to go. Okay, doing the same thing here, just doing my loop, and I'm not going to twist this one because this is going to be part of our tail, and again just going slightly smaller. And then we can cut our tails to match. Not much of a difference there. Instead of cutting twice, like cutting this way and then doing my dovetail, I'm just going to go ahead and do it all in one swoop. I like doing the lean effect, less steps, less time. I like to do a time saver. And then we're going to do the same with this ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and just take it off of the reel here and do my dovetails. And we're going to do the same thing, making sure that our pretty side is facing up. We're going to do our little measurement just by visual and give it a twist in the middle. And this is to make sure that our pretty side is going to be facing up. And this one is going to be about an inch or so smaller. This is going to be like the middle portion of our bow. Kind of do this upside down to make sure that you can see it, be able to tell what I'm doing a little bit easier. Okay, and it looks like we'll have to go even smaller on that tail. All right, so let's reposition just a little bit. Just little adjustments if you're using remnants and you don't have a full roll of your ribbon. That's all that is. Nothing wrong with that. We just make small adjustments as we go. Still making a small loop because I want to make sure the other two ribbons are also going to be seen easily. Giving it my twist in the middle. And this last one we don't twist because we want that pretty side to be facing up. Now to make sure here that both your loops, left and right, are the same, you could do just like holding it up here and pulling up just to make sure by holding in the middle. And this will let you know, because then you'll be able to see if they're even, okay? And that'll let you know if you need to pull it on either side just to make it smaller, okay? Or larger, depending on what the case may be, on what you have. Okay, then we want to make sure we position our tails, making sure they're all facing the way we want them to face. Looks like I may have pulled some on that. There we go. And we're going to do our little dovetail, making sure it's about even. Okay. Okay. So from here we can do a little bit of positioning. If you want the tails to be in a certain order, you can move them around. Again, with there being wire ribbons, you're able to play with that. Makes it a little bit easier. But we definitely want to make sure that they're all facing in the same direction. Now if you do shorter tails, or if you want them to spread, there's another type of bow that you can do where you have tails coming in different directions throughout the bow itself. So you can do that as well. For this one, it's just a quick, easy, simple bow that you can use for gift wrapping, to add to a small wreath, and so on. So I'm going to use a zip tie just to make sure everything's tied together, and making sure that I run it through the full bottom, making sure I capture all of our ribbons. I've done that before, you know, I've run it through thinking I got all of my ribbons, and then I tighten it up and it's like, oh, I missed one. Now here you don't have to tighten all the way because it's just to keep it somewhat secure while we lift. And I guess I gotta reattach that. So I'm gonna move this to my middle while I'm still holding it. I'm holding everything. We don't want it to fall apart. And then just making this go to the back. And then we can tighten it up just a little bit more, but not all the way. We can then move our easy bow maker out of the way. Okay, and then we can go ahead and do any other positioning we may want to do with our dovetails. And for attaching purposes, basing it on if you're going to use it on a small wreath, or if you're going to do a small gift, you could also do wiring or use more ribbon. In this case, I'm going to use a chenille stem or pipe cleaner, and just running that through that zip tie. And then I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit more, just so that way it'll stay somewhat secure, but not all the way, because we want to make sure we fluff our ribbon. Okay. And all we do to fluff our ribbon, I do recommend, is making sure you put your full, at least the 4 fingers through it. Don't be afraid of it. Where they're being wired, it's okay. You can move them, position them any way you want to. If you want them to stand up a little bit more towards the top, or you want one to go to the bottom, or and so on, you are definitely able to do that. With wire ribbons, it makes it so much easier. And it's all based on your preference and what you like. There's no actual like right wrong way of doing this. It's based on your preference, which is another reason why I like making the wreaths and the bows. So there we go, just quick, easy bow. Of course, if you want these to be more towards the top, you can definitely move them that way. Again, based on your preference. Once you have everything pretty much where you want it to be, then we can turn back around and give this a nice pull to make sure it's nice and tight. And then we can cut it. Excuse me. Okay. And all I'm doing is cutting the excess of the zip tie. we still have our chenille stem or pipe cleaner that we can use to kind of hold the bow. And then if we need to reposition our loops or our tails, we can do a little bit more fluffing. We can do that from there. So that is pretty much it. Quick and easy. And again, you can add more loops based on how much ribbon you have, or if you want to make it bigger, of course you can make 2 or 3, even 4 different loops for your bottom based on how many ribbons you're going to be using. And then you could always do 3 and 2 and kind of do less and less loops to kind of give it that more of a rounded look for your bow. So I'm going to change the view of the camera again, just so that we can see each other a little bit better. Well, you can see me. And here is that bow just from a different angle. And again, you can position your loops any way you like. If you want top, bottom, a little bit, you could do that. And just move them around how you want them. Or if you want them one on top of the other and then do the other ones on top. So that's the 2 different looks right there. It's a little bit on the opposite side here. So it's entirely up to you. But again, don't be afraid of it. Be the master of the ribbon. It is wired, so it's okay. Move them around, tug them, pull them. It's quite all right. Once you have it all nice and snug, it's not going to go anywhere but where you put it. So it makes it nice and easy. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Just another quick one. And if you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Share with friends, family, and on social media. We would love to see you here again next week. Until then, stay safe, keep smiling, and stay liquid. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.